In the waning twilight where violet storms clawed at the sky, a lone silhouette slipped through the crumbling gates of a forgotten spire. Her name was Elena, an elf sorcerer with eyes the color of spring leaves caught in late autumn's chill. Curiosity drove her through the tangled brambles and up the ancient marble steps, for word had spread of the illusionist's tower, a place where history distorted into myth and myth slipped quietly into nightmare. The party had taken shelter in a ruined chapel at the forest's edge. There was Rook, a tiefling rogue whose laughter concealed a storm cloud of regret. Mara, a dwarven fighter whose armor was battered, but whose heart, it seemed, was unbreakable. And Lysander, a human cleric, soft-spoken but fierce when cornered. Elena's pact with them was not born of friendship, but of necessity, a gamble to explore untold magic in the world's lost places. Yet even among them, she was the moth ever circling the flame. When she first glimpsed the tower shrouded in mist, its pinnacle crowned by crystalline mirrors tarnished with age, Elena felt that old magnetic tug in her veins. Her companions eyed the place with veiled fear. Rook frowned. Some things are left to molder for a reason. Mara spat, "Give me a troll over phantoms any day." Lysander only crossed himself and whispered prayers to the gentle moon. But Elena pressed on, the heavy doors groaning open beneath her hand. The others followed at her back, tension drawn tight as a bowstring. Within, the gloom of the foyer stretched on forever, a vast marble expanse choked with dust and chilling echoes. Tall windows let in frail slashes of moonlight. The air itself seemed to ripple. The tower was not simply abandoned. It was aware, its every shadow a watching eye. In the heart of the vestibule, the party's reflections hung askew in shattered glass. Mara's voice trembled. "Why do the shards show a fourth behind us?" No one dared look back, but in the spectral silence, a shadow darted, silent as breath. Rook's dagger flashed, but there was nothing there. Only a prickle at the nape of the neck, the air cold as grave loam. Deeper they ventured, lantern light flickering. The very walls seemed to shift and breathe. Elena felt her grip on reality loosen with every step, as she watched endless doors open onto rooms that could not exist. A ballroom filled with silent dancers who raised hollow eyes. A library where books wept ink. A feast hall set for a wedding that never was. The rotting cake still crowned with gilded roses. Mara reached for her axe, eyes hard. "We shouldn't be here. None of this is real." "Not real," Elena murmured, "but dangerous nonetheless." It was then they heard the music, a thin lullaby drifting down the twisted stair. The ghost revealed itself on the mezzanine, clad in velvet robes, violet as a bruise. Its face wavered like candle smoke, but its eyes held the sharp glint of a mind not yet spent. "Another soul, seeking wonders," it intoned, voice echoing off the stone. "Why not join the pageant? Stay, dance among my illusions, be remembered in beauty forever." Elena sensed the spell's snare, a melody spun from longing and memory, its power to enthrall sewn deep into the very bones of the tower. Lysander shielded his comrades with a prayer. Rook hurled a mirror at the apparition, shattering it into 1,000 falling stars. Mara bellowed a challenge, but her words traveled through cotton. The ghost only smiled, arms outstretched. "You can flee, but you'll only return," it mused. "This is the cradle of all which cannot fade." As the others struggled, Elena closed her eyes. The world spun, then steadied, brittle with purpose. She remembered what drove her, the urge to see beyond the surface, to know what lay beneath the masks of the world. What is illusion but the longing for something true, she wondered. Spreading her hands, she conjured her own light, a song of clarity strung from the chords of her heart. The spell clashed with thunder through the grand hall, shattering the warped reflections and peeling madness from the walls. For an instant, the ghost flickered, desperate and raw. "You see me?" it pleaded. Not the mask, nor the shadow, but me. Yes, Elena whispered, and her magic unwove the melody of the tower, thread by haunting thread. The only escape is to accept the truth, she said, voice trembling as the spectral world collapsed around them. Memories of the illusionist's life, joy and pride, loss and shame, flashed before her, offered to her open heart. The tower shuddered. The ghost's features, barely elven anymore, softened from wrath to relief. With a sigh older than centuries, it faded, leaving behind only motes of silver dust and a silence so deep it bordered on peace. The party stumbled from the ruins, breathless and changed. Even Mara wept for the lonely grace of the vanished ghost. Rook said nothing, but pressed a trembling hand to the rotting banister in quiet respect. Lysander intoned a blessing for all lost souls, and the moonlight fell cool upon their faces. Elena looked back only once. In the broken mirrors, the four of them stood together. No ghosts trailing this time, only the reflection of companions forged by courage and truth. Not all phantoms haunt only the dead, Elena murmured. Some we must lay to rest within ourselves. In the hush, something unspoken passed between the friends. A promise and the knowledge that the mysteries of the world were their burden and their blessing. If you enjoyed tonight's tale of illusion and redemption in the haunted tower, leave a comment with the story you'd like to hear next. Suggest a place, a hero, a villain, or a twist, and perhaps your idea will become the next legend flickering to life by the fire. Until then, may your light pierce all shadows. Enhanced narration. On storm-lit nights, when the world's forgotten places whisper secrets through the rain, Elena, an elf whose curiosity sparkled brighter than any gemstone, ventured toward legends most folk dared not name. Her companions hailed from far corners, a tiefling thief with hidden wounds, a dwarf whose steel gauntlets disguised a kinder core, and a priest ever watchful for trapped souls. Together, they crossed the threshold of a tower ruled by neither time nor sanity, where the air felt heavy with old showmanship, and even the cobwebs seemed poised to trick the eye. From the very first step, Elena sensed truth and illusion waltzing close. Each footfall echoed between floors that defied geometry, mirrors that stretched her every flaw into monstrous shapes, and melodies that promised comfort for the price of her will. But she was made for unraveling mysteries. Where fear gripped her friends, she pressed deeper until the ghost revealed itself, a spirit once revered, now desperate for company in its endless waltz. As phantasms clawed at her mind, Elena faced her deepest temptation, the offer of beauty, peace, and a place carved in memory's marble. It was her refusal and her singular compassion that freed them all. Her magic, crystalline and honest, dissolved the spellbinding dance, and in that clarity, she granted the illusionist's soul one last act of grace. Sometimes the only way out is not to flee the darkness, but to see it, hold it, and let it go. So remember, in places where the world wears 1,000 faces, there's always hope for one true vision. Drop your own adventure suggestions in the comments, and maybe you'll help conjure the next extraordinary tale. Until then, travel boldly, for every shadow is simply a story waiting to be seen.